Hello, dear children. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to your English class. I hope you have been enjoying your video lessons. Today, we are going to begin a new unit. Children, let's go back to our classroom and try to recall what kind of friends do we have. Some students are very active in class, while some others do not do anything in the classroom. I mean to say, when the teacher asks a question, some children are very happy and are very active to answer all the questions, whereas there are some students who do not want to answer a single question. They are least interested about whatever is happening in the classroom. These are the children who are mostly lost. They do not bother about anything, but they are happy in their own fairy world. So, considering the fact that not all the students are similar, we know that there will be some students who are active, whereas some will be busy in themselves. So, the poem that we are going to begin today is Class Discussion. Children, before we begin the poem, can you tell me what is the meaning of class discussion? Class discussion is the exchange of ideas and thoughts between the teachers and their students with the purpose of developing students' capabilities or skills. Children, we all have discussion in the classroom. Whenever we talk about something, it is nothing but a class discussion. Before we move on to understanding the poem, we'll learn to recite the poem. So as I read, you must follow the words in the book. In the class discussion, Jane, you hardly said a word. We all aired our opinions, but from you we barely heard. You sat and stared in silence, surrounded by the chatter. Now tell me, Jane, and please be plain, is there anything the matter? Jane looked up and then she spoke. Her voice was clear and low. There are many people in this world who are rather quiet, you know. This poem is written by Jervis Finn. This is a very simple poem. I'm sure you all would relate to it. Recall your days from the classroom where the teacher calls out your name and asks you to answer a certain question that she asks. Sometimes the question is put up in front of the whole classroom, but sometimes the teacher calls out an individual's name to get an answer. So, in this poem, the teacher calls out Jane. Let us now understand the meaning of these lines from the poem. In the class discussion, Jane, you hardly said a word. We all aired our opinions, but from you we barely heard. The teacher says that Jane had hardly said a word. Everybody had aired their opinions. Everybody had put forth their opinions. But nobody heard anything from Jane. You sat and stared in silence, surrounded by the chatter. Now tell me, Jane, and please be plain. Is there anything the matter? Jane, in fact, sat quietly and looked at everyone around in silence. Whereas the classroom was busy talking about things that were happening, Jane was surrounded by the chatter. Chatter means talking, the noises in the classroom. So the teacher asked Jane whether she would clearly tell her what was the matter. Jane looked up and then she spoke. Her voice was clear and low. There are many people in this world who are rather quiet, you know. So Jane looked up at the teacher and she spoke in a very clear but low tone of voice. She said that there are many people in this world who are rather quiet, you know. So, children, didn't I tell you there are many kinds of students in the classroom? So, Jane was the one who didn't like to talk much. Because Jane did not talk, or you can say she did not answer the questions asked by the teacher was a little worried. The teacher also asked Jane whether something was troubling her, whether there was something that she wanted to share with her. In fact, children, I would suggest you to be super attentive in class. In fact, you should be very active in the classroom. You should answer all the questions asked by the teacher. And children, if you show more interest towards what is happening in the classroom, you definitely know that you're going to learn things better. So you know the drill, children. Now, this does not mean that you will shout on top of everybody's voice, but maintain proper discipline and yet you can be active in the classroom, answer all the questions asked by the teacher and show how interested you are in whatever the teacher is discussing. Isn't this a very sweet poem, children? Let us discuss the word meanings. Discussion, talking together in a group on a single topic. Aired is to make public. Barely, only just. Stare, look fixedly with eyes wide open. Plain in this particular poem means clear. So that's all for today, children. I hope you have enjoyed reading this poem. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye bye.